Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, everyone. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Let's get this show on the road. So, let me just say some hellos to everyone watching live. Let's see here. Mr. Anderson, hello. Rage Gamer, Scale Model Eric, Ryzern, Wylan. What's going on? Let's see. Ragey, what did you say? You mentioned that your wife was getting her tonsils out. Hopefully that went well. Do people really only eat ice cream and soft foods and getting their tonsils out? Yes. Last week, if you guys hadn't heard that news, I had mentioned it. Yeah, my wife got her tonsils out. And it was also a big holiday here in Korea, so that's why I didn't have a lot of content for you guys last week. I was basically with my kids most of the week because my wife was in the hospital for a couple days recovering for that. And yes, she did eat ice cream, not only ice cream though. That was one of the few recommended foods. But yeah, it's basically very soft things and only nothing with really super acidic or super sweet or super salty, anything like that. So very kind of bland foods she needs to eat as well too. Gullin over there on Twitch, hello. He said, I'm jealous of your access to Zoids kits. Yeah, hopefully you guys in the States can, that'll be figured out. I mean, there's not a lot that you guys can do about it, but hopefully that situation improves so that, you guys can have easier access to Zoids stuff over there. I know you guys in the States can get Zoids stuff, but you end up having to order it from overseas or probably having to pay a hefty price for them ordering them in America. If you guys have not been watching the live streams Adam and I have been doing over there on the USA Gundam TV channel, we've talked about Zoids kits a couple of times, and as Adam has mentioned, stores there in the US are not supposed to sell Zoids kits, so if they do, they're kind of risking getting in trouble for that. Zoids kits, because of licensing issues, they're not allowed to sell them. Hopefully that'll change in the future though. Danjo, as always, thank you so much for the super chat there. Appreciate you coming in. And Gukikan Guy, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they're on Facebook. Thank you for we'll see, give me a little boo there to wake me up there. I guess because it's Halloween season, right? Let's see. Honk honk. What happened to your Ford versus Ferrari Gundam Unicorn video? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Ford versus Ferrari. That sounds familiar, but I don't remember what that's exactly referring to. Our Unicorn video? Are you talking about the Master Grade versus the Verka that I talked about doing a long time ago with when the Banshee Verka came out, and I kind of forgot about that and have never gotten back to doing that. But also, let's see, Gunpla Madness, Jason, hello. Hi, thank you, Jason, for the support. Boo for Zoids, not able to sell this. Oh, okay, I thought it was a Halloween thing, saying boo. They're on Facebook. Yeah, just booing the Zoids kit. Okay, well, fair enough. I hope it'll be at least interesting to watch, even though you're not able to get them super easily there in the US. Allergies are kind of bothering me this morning, so I'll be sniffling, I'm sure, and touching my nose a lot. Sorry about that. This allergy, it's usually, this time of year is usually not allergy season for me, but me and I don't know, a lot of other people, like my wife's boss and I met a friend the other day, and ran into a friend, I should say, at the supermarket, and he said his allergies have been bothering him too, so I don't know what's going on here, but let's go ahead and get started. Building the Geno Saurer repackaged version. So as far as I know, nothing really different about the repackaged versions, other than the fact that they come with water slides and the previous versions did not. Let's see, there is, for these eye pieces, you have the options of plain clear or clear red pieces for the eyes. I went with clear red, because obviously. Alvin on Twitch, hello. Thank you for all the emojis there, very cute. Has everyone seen the multiple reveals from Wonderfest this weekend? Yeah, there was some cool stuff. I hadn't seen a lot of it, but there was some cool stuff I saw coming out of Wonderfest there, wasn't there? This eyepiece doesn't really seem like it's gonna be like actually held in by much of anything, but let's see here. Okay, it'd help if I follow the instructions. This purple part is supposed to let's see. Oh, that's wrong. There you go. It's supposed to plug into here first, right? No, I've still got that kind of backwards. Here we go. There we are. So that purple part plugs into here first for the side of the face. And then the eye part, and then the clear part. Okay. There is that little notch. It's meant to go towards the front or the back. I'm not really sure, but I'm just gonna pop that in there and hope for the best. There we go. That needs to actually be pushed in farther, doesn't it? But it feels like, yeah, that feels like there's a peg that's not plugged in there. Try to pop this out carefully. The peg is in, it's just that part's kind of tight. A little bit of a tight squeeze getting this first piece in there, but there you go. You press that down and then it's safe and secure. You can put this clear piece in over the top of that, which don't really like the look of this clear piece here, to be honest. Probably ultimately, like whenever I get around to ever painting this build, I'll probably omit that clear piece over the side of the eyes there, because it's clear, but it kind of dulls the purple, and the clear red piece in there for the eye has kind of dulled now because of that clear part over the top of that. I don't really like that. Alright, let's put the other side of the face here together. Bardiel said, would suggest you try and glue those clear eye lens pieces. I got the Raven version of the HMM Geno Saurer and Breaker. Those clear pieces don't stand. Alright. Yeah, I'll see how it goes. If I can avoid gluing it for the time being, I will, because I'd rather glue it, later once the kit is actually painted. If I really have to, I'll put just a little tiny bit of glue on it, just so at least it'll stay together for the review. Hopefully it'll be alright. As long as it stays together well enough so I can get through doing the review and it's not driving me crazy, then I won't mind it too much. If I can just get that in, there we go. Transformer. Oh, I wish. That'd be cool if there was like I know there's the what are those called? The Masterpiece Transformers of there's a couple from Beast Wars, I know, right? That'd be cool if they had some Transformers Beast Wars model kits. Like, what's the Flame Toys is the company that's making those model kits, right? Has anyone heard if they plan on making any Beast Wars ones or not? Maybe they've announced that they're going to do that or something like that, and I haven't seen it. but it would be cool to see some Beast Wars ones. The Flame Toys Transformers kits don't transform, right? Pretty sure. They're like just the, what's that, robot mode or whatever. Which I'm totally cool with. You know, I mean, like, we've all built transforming Gundam kits and, you know, transforming Gundam kits. And that's made by Bandai, which is like top quality engineering. And the transformations can be a little wonky at times. So as far as like model kits go, and like transforming model kits, if they're gonna make transformer kits, I'm kind of fine with them not transforming, to be honest. So like, that's just me. I'm not a huge, like, super huge Transformer fan though either. So I know a lot of you guys who might be more into Transformers than I am might care more about the transforming aspect of them than I would. For me, just the robot mode is fine, and I'd be the same even with the Beast Wars model kits as well too. I'd be totally fine with them just only staying in the robot form, not transforming. Let's see. Got this cannon kind of weapon in the mouth, and then we've also got one on top of the head. And we have a couple options for the one that goes on top of the head too, which I'll show you guys here in just a second. The design is slightly different. I think I'm just gonna go with whichever one is pictured on like the box art. Or we'll see. But got this part. There's the cannon for inside the head. Now I guess that's not supposed to meet up there in the center because it doesn't. Or that's not supposed to go on there yet at all. I forgot a piece in the center. Follow the instructions. Now I'm having trouble getting that back off there. Come on. It's just stuck on a polycap. Why is it so tight on there? Oh, it's because the polycap like has some flash on it and it's getting caught on the flash. That's why it's not going to come off of here. Let's see. I'm gonna have to see if I can trim the flash a little bit on this so we can get that off of there. And it's a kind of very thin piece here too, so I'm being careful not to force it too hard because I'm worried it'll break. Alright. Here's what always trips me up. Is because, you know, we read from left to right. So I'm going, okay, this step, then this one, then this one, then that one, right? But this is a sub-assembly you need to do first, then it needs to go over here. So it's when it goes backwards is when it always trips me up. I don't look at the instructions long enough to see that it's actually a sub-assembly going together, not the piece that I would just assume that it would be. So my fault. I need to just pay attention to what I'm doing, but it would help if it was not backwards. Alright, so that's there. This one on here is the part for the top of the head, which I was forgetting. And this one here. So, let's see. That goes into here first. Right, like that, okay. And then the other side. Now we can close this up here. Like that, okay, thank you. And then the bottom jaw. So how are you guys all doing this morning? Did you have a nice weekend? As I mentioned a few minutes ago. Oh no! Oh, now you guys are getting a close-up of the parts at least. Alright. Camera seems to be doing that more and more recently, doesn't it? So it's really time to sort out a new attachment piece for my camera, isn't it? Or at least a new mount over here for it or something. Sorry about that, fellas. Just readjust everything over here. Oh, you're gonna fall again, aren't you? Alright, hang on. That's enough. Let me just check this here. And all right. Good weekend, good weekend. Pre-order the new Advanced Zeta kits. Nice. I need to do that as soon as they are available for pre-order. Here, I'm not sure if I'm gonna pre-order that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pre-order that set coming out. That's the this set of like the old Dengeki model kits that they're putting out again, because I have all of them already. So it's not really, as far as I know, that new set isn't coming like with water slides or something like that, which would be nice to have with that, but I haven't seen enough to know if that new set is coming with anything like that. So probably gonna pass on that, but definitely looking forward to picking up one of the Gaplant boosters. Alright. Got these vents here and a nice red color for the side of the head. Something kind of stinks in here. Because I was basically kind of out of the office for much of last week, I haven't been in here. I need to take out the trash or something. Something kind of stinks. Usually, like when I'm here during the day, whenever I'm not live streaming or recording, there's like a back door over there. I usually have the door open, just get some fresh air in here and whatever. But haven't been here for a few days. Oh shit. And so I think I need to get some fresh air in here. And yeah, don't you hate that when you need to put pressure on the part there to get it to press down, but then you accidentally pressure it just wrong and you just blast the thing into space. Alright, so yeah, here's our options for the gun on the top of the head. That's not really wanting to press together all the way there, which is kind of annoying. So option A and option B, one of them is a little bit longer, and so I'm gonna go with the one that's pictured on the front of the box, which is this one, where it's just one solid piece. The other one is actually 3 pieces, including a little mount there, so you can actually move that up and down like that. I'll show off both in the review, but for now I'll just stick with that one solid piece there like that. So there's our head all done. The mouth opens up, you got the little laser cannon there out the mouth and all that. Looks very cool. You can get a sense of just how big this kit is gonna be, because it's a pretty big head there he's got. So let's just move on then to the body. And the tail, there's like more pieces in the tail than there is in like the head and body combined. A lot of pieces here in the body as well too, but gonna have to like separate these out a little bit. Yes. There's more. This section going to be a bit of a challenge because we're gonna have to dig through all these parts to find what we're looking for. That's okay. There wasn't any good way for me to separate these out any more than this. Last couple ones here. Alright. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of mess of parts here for the body. I also, speaking of Zoid stuff, there was the announcement over the weekend from Kotobukiya of, or was it over the weekend or the end of last week anyway, of the new HMM kit on the way of the Liger 0X. And I believe they have a couple of kits on the way too, coming from the Zoids Wild series, right? Kotobukiya is going to make a couple of HMM kits from that series, so that's pretty interesting. I don't really like those designs quite as much, but we'll see. Once the kits are coming out, we'll see if they look any better. I think you remember MG Hazel Osla. Yeah, that RF, that's going to be a cool one. Caliburns, hi, how's it going? You do Zoids now? Cool. I don't necessarily do Zoids now. I've built a couple of Zoids kits in the past. I haven't built one for a long time. I don't. Most of the Zoids kits I'm not super interested. Often there'll be a Zoids kit that I do kind of like, and I'll go ahead and want to check out building it, like this kit for example. And this is a new release as well too, kind of relatively, so check it out and share it with you guys so you can see what it's all about. New sort of in just that it's the repackaged version, newly re-available now as the repackaged version. The Geno Saurer in general has been out for quite a while, I would say. I don't know exactly offhand, but let's see. It's one more little rectangular looking piece. Here it is. Zoids, and there's just certain franchises that it's not like I don't do them. It's just that they're just not as interesting to me, so I just don't really build them very often or ever. Usually, Zoids is just one example. Another example would be like Armored Core. I think I've only ever built one Armored Core kit. I have another one here that I need to get around to building. Actually, when I was preparing to build this one, I was kind of on the fence. I was like, should I build that Zoids kit or build that Armored Core kit? And I decided to go for Zoids because I know people, and I know, like I said, whenever I'm live streaming with Adam, the question comes up a lot. People ask about Zoids a lot, and I know I get asked about it, about Zoids kits and stuff like that. So it seems like Zoids is the thing that people are more looking forward to seeing. But I'm sure there's plenty of people who would be excited to see some soonish. It's in the queue. It's there. It's behind me. So anything that I keep on the shelf here means that it's something that's in the queue to be built and reviewed, relatively soon, as I can. Only so many hours in the day, so can't get to everything at once, but we do our best. Let's see. All right, got this guy here, and this neck piece like that. Is that right? I guess so. Yes. Okay. And that plugs onto the side of here. Oh no. See, it happened again. I need to push this part on, but pushing it on also pushed it apart at the same time. So I need to be careful how I press that. There you go. Okay. Yeah, some parts you may want to glue, but they're about as complex as an HG is pretty awesome. Yeah, from my experience, I've built like I said, a couple of Zoids HMM kits before, and that's kind of the experience that I've had every time. I just realized I put that part in there backwards. I'm gonna have to take that apart now, aren't I? Yeah, they're pretty much like MG, like building an MG, albeit a relatively complex MG. They're pretty complex kits. So not like a basic MG by any means. But yeah, they're like building an MG. But yeah, you are going to want to glue a couple of parts here and there. Not really that the parts just won't stay on, it's just that they'll be very touchy. And that if you got something that's going to be like falling off easily, then might just save yourself the headache and just go ahead and glue it on. Sorry, that then goes on here carefully. Alright, there you go. There's our neck, basically. I guess is what that's gonna be. Reiji said, I don't remember if I asked this before. Are there any kits that were bundled with other products that you want Bandai to release? Like the Dengeki AOZ kits. I don't think that you've asked that before. I don't think I've answered that before. It would be cool if they released like some of the busts that have been put out. Like I've got a couple of them here, which are also kind of in the queue. The Origins Gundam head bust, which is really cool, which is one I don't see very often, so I don't know if this is kind of a little bit harder to come by or not, because I don't really see it around very often. And the Zeta head bust. Those are just a couple of them. There's also like one for the G-Self, I think the build burning, I think there's also one, I believe. What else? There's the Unicorn, the Shinanju ones as well too. I've got a couple of those. Yeah, so some of those head bust kits would be kind of cool to see out as just like, I don't know if they would be bundles or something like that. I think like if Bandai just like re-released them as just P Bandai kits, and then they wouldn't cost a whole lot. They could even just put them in just a really simple bag or something, like even more simple than just that box. I think would be totally cool. Oh. I forgot a piece again. I need to take these off. I was wondering why, like on the inside of these black parts, there are these little circular pegs that don't plug into anything. I was like, that's kind of weird that those are there and they don't actually plug into anything. It's because I forgot this piece. The purple piece is supposed to fit over the top of here. That would make sense. There we go. Now those can plug onto there. Carefully. Come on. There we go. And where to go? This one. This makes a whole lot more sense now. This one plugging onto there like that. Okay. And I got one more of those, which will go onto here. Those are exactly the same, right? Okay, there's not a front one and back one. They just both plug onto there like that. And then we got this little guy here, which will go onto this side, which I think is this one. There's different ones here, so we'll just see which one will fit. A larger size and a smaller size one. But actually, I think it's actually this one is right. Plugs onto the side of there like that. And where's the other one of those? There should be. Here it is. to there. Okay, and then one more piece on the bottom. Let's see, man, the fact that you just put all the parts in front of you and build is wild to me. I got to build off the runner step by step. Michael, it's not as hard as you might imagine, trust me. These aren't like all the parts of the entire kit all laid out here. It's just the parts for the neck and body. So it's just all the parts for this particular step basically, but for kind of just a couple of steps all at once. It's not that many parts. If I cut out all the parts and lay them all out at once, yeah, it would be a little bit more difficult. So yeah, on the occasion, it is kind of tricky to find the exact part that I'm looking for, but eventually I'll find it. So here we go. And with that, our neck is done. And I'm not meant to put the head on quite yet, but I'm tempted to though. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on there and hope that that's not gonna be a problem later on. But there's our head and neck. Very cool, very beefy neck there for that. And we got our pilot, which is, I believe, probably gonna need a little bit of glue. I'm just gonna go ahead and see here. Maybe we don't need glue for this necessarily at the moment. A little pilot figure is actually 4 pieces. Like one for the top half of the body, one for the bottom half, and then 2 for the arms, all separate pieces here. So you put that together, and we got a cockpit seat piece. And our Zoids core piece should have a hole in that. There it is. That fits into there, and where's the cockpit piece? Oh, it's 2 halves. That's maybe why I couldn't spot it. I was just looking at that a second ago, I'm sure. There it is. It's these ones here, right? Yeah. Those are like that. And there's a little chair piece as well too. It's meant to go in there, and the core piece can go up underneath here like this. There you go. That's on there. Here's the chair. I was looking for that. That goes down into there. I need something to push that into place. Come on, get in there. Alright, get out of there. There we go. And the pilot's not really like, he's not a peg or anything, he just kind of sits in there and that's it, so it's kind of loose. I wish there was a peg or something for that to be a little bit more secure, but alright, fair enough. This piece goes over the top of there, I guess that'll hold him in. And once this is on there, you're not really going to see the pilot much anymore. It's just going to be trapped inside. It's just his little feet are sticking out. That's kind of funny. It looks like there being a Freedom Gundam statue in China is more likely. Did you hear about the 130 scale Freedom Gundam that is going to be sold in China? Sold in China as like a massive kit or something? No, I've not heard about that. I have, of course, heard about the 1-to-1 scale Gundam, Freedom Gundam that's allegedly supposed to be going up there in China next year. I still have my serious doubts about that, though. Kind of one of those things, like, once we start to see more on the construction of that, I'll believe it. But for the time being, I'm still kind of thinking, like, not sure if I can really believe that or not. That's there. says to put the side part on there first, but kind of doesn't really want to stay on really well if I do that, so. There we go. So I guess that's for the cockpit. That opens up, and this part, I guess, like in theory, is probably supposed to open up here as well, but it actually doesn't. So you just have his little feet sticking out there. Pretty goofy, but all right. Then I think this section, then we set aside for the moment. Can't do anything more with that until we build this section, which is one of those sections where you have like not like these couple parts sub-assembly plus these couple parts, and then like go together, and then these couple parts go together on that. It's like 10 different parts all go together in one step, where you have like no sub-assemblies. It's just like all one big massive stuff, which is always a little bit more complicated. But let's see, this is 08 and oops. These on here like that, and then one of these, right? Yeah, must be, fits into there. Okay, there's that piece. And last week, even though I was not able to do much recording or making much content for you guys, I was able to work on some stuff kind of like at night while my kids were sleeping and stuff. So that's how I got all the parts prepped for this. The other kit that I did build up though is the Blasty. So I'm gonna work on the review for this one later today. I'll show it to you guys, but I'll just give you a little preview how the Blasty is looking. Here he is, the Moderoid kit. Pretty cool. So built that up as well, and it was kind of a very interesting comparison building that kit, which was quite simple. Doesn't have a ton of parts to that. If you guys ever built any Moderoid kits, from my experience, they all seem to be kind of like that. Not really the most complicated kits. But it was interesting building that and then going to this. It's quite a big difference, as this one just has tons and tons of parts, and the Blasty didn't have a whole lot, so I found that interesting comparison. So I got that built up, and then also the what is it? The Hajiraboshi, of course, which I did manage to get some time in to record the review and post that, of course, last week as well too. So I was able to get a little bit of stuff done here and there. Let me see. So, not that one. This one needs to fit into here, onto there, like that, right? That goes on there. We need a polycap in there. That would be helpful. PCC. I guess we're gonna need one for the opposite side here too, as well. I've been building Gundams for about 3 years, but I'm looking into getting some Zoids. Any tips? Well, GGGGG, any tips for you building Zoids kits would be, I wouldn't really recommend any of like the old Tummy Tech ones, like the motorized ones, unless you really want a motorized one. And the Zoids Wilds kits that have been out so far, I mean, I don't really like the look of them. But if you do, then, you know, those exist. But really the Kotobukiya HMM line is really kind of like top tier. When it comes to like just any Zoids kits in general, these are like the master grade Zoids kits. They're really good. More expensive, much more expensive, and much more complicated to build than some of the other counterparts. Like I mentioned before, they're basically like building very complex master grade kits. But as you'll see, when it's all said and done, they're very much, I think, worth the time and effort. And cash. Because they're really nice. So, let me see. That goes on here like that, okay. So there's a lot of kit to build here, as you'll see, as this will be a relatively lengthy live stream today. It's going to take us a while, if you couldn't tell. Where's that little pin piece that I need? Did it escape somewhere? It's the only downside to cutting all the parts out like this. There it is. Sometimes there'll be a little tiny piece which will be hiding from you. Go. And this red piece, the little red accents on this kit are really nice for the vents and stuff. It's a nice color. I like it. Now, making sure I didn't forget anything, we can put these sections together here like this. Like that. Okay, there's that. I think these are going to be ultimately the arm joints where the arms will be plugged into. Then we got these ones here. Go around over the front of that. Like that. And where's the other one? There it is. Go. Make sure that's pressed on there good and firmly. How did you get your Zoids kit? Chris, I got this here locally in Asia. It's not bought from America, of course. As I mentioned before, certainly you can buy Zoids kits in America, but not as easily as we can over here. That part goes to the front, and I always get psyched out because it'll say like, it looks like in the manual it's just one piece going on there, but it's actually two pieces together. They don't like show the sub-assembly of that. It's just this plus this piece plus this piece. Oh, okay, yes, of course. Onto there, which, how does that actually plug onto here? Like that. Okay. Strange. And the other one is here. You'll see our big pile of pieces is slowly getting narrowed down here, so it's not quite so much. And this piece, yeah, the way that piece goes on inside of there is not really very secure yet, but it will be. I feel like once we get this plugged onto here. Yep. There you go. All right. So there's that kind of like chest piece, I guess, sort of, is kind of what that's going to be. I just stretched. I went to bed early last night, which is like always good to catch up on sleep, but I always end up feeling so like stiff when I sleep too much. Not when I sleep too much, like when I sleep a normal amount, I guess, actually. Is the moving Gundam only going to be available for a year? The only info that I can find seems to imply that it is. Reiji, you know, I'm not too sure about that. I couldn't say. I could sort of see that happening, but I don't know. I mean, logically, yeah, it seems like kind of a waste to go through all that investment and have it only be there for a year. But I don't know. It's a good question. Where's that little guy? Here it is. That goes on there. Then a bunch of these little pieces are meant to plug onto here. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. It's just kind of... Okay, I know this one goes on here first. Not necessarily first, but that one goes on there. This one goes up here. And then, oh, okay, there's a little diorama there at the bottom to kind of better illustrate how these are meant to look once they're all on there. So you got 6 of these little pieces which are meant to go on there, like that. When in doubt, never force it if it's not fitting on there, right? So here you can see, even though these pieces are very specific as to which ones need to go where, you'd think, oh, I can't cut them all out at once, because then I won't know which ones are meant to go where, but you can figure it out by just looking in the manual. And they only fit on there in a certain way. You wouldn't be able to put, if I like put this piece accidentally over here, it wouldn't fit, it wouldn't, the attachment piece is slightly different, it wouldn't work. So never fear. Couple more little vent pieces that attach onto here. And it's been a little while since I built the Liger, a couple of Liger kits that I've built, but as far as I can remember, you build up like the, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but I feel like I remember the kit being that you built up like the entirety of like the kind of frame of it, and then you went and put the armor on it, but I feel like that's probably wrong. I don't think I'm remembering that correctly, actually. But with this kit, it's definitely not the case. You definitely build up like the whole thing all at once here. Yeah. Sure, that's supposed to be like that. Yeah. Why is this not wanting to fit into here? Come on. Late to the streams, I'm assuming we started as Zoids as a gateway into Gunpla so many years ago. Well, Joshua, you're not that late. I don't have a whole lot built so far, basically, like the head and neck and part of the torso here. Just trying to get this piece into here, and it feels like it's kind of like when I just put it in there, it's like kind of like resting in place, but I don't feel like it's actually plugged in all the way that it's meant to be. So I'm trying to push it so that gets in. It feels like it's the case where like it's just a little bit tight, and I just need to get it just quite right for it to pop into place here. So let me see, just make sure we don't have any built up flash a little bit here on the edges of this or something that'll sometimes kind of block it from fitting in there properly. But it should. Fuck. Maybe on the inside of this part here. I'm sure I'm not putting this together wrong, because on this piece, this little tab on here is a little bit off to the side, and it says that it's meant to be a little bit to that side, like that, like it's supposed to. And this piece is like this, and it's meant to just plug into there, like that, but for some reason, well, I wonder if, no, that doesn't plug onto there. Come on, you. Curious. Let's see. Let's try it backwards and see if it fits in there anyway. I guess like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is just only meant to go in there just a little bit like that, and it's not like really held in by much other than that. It's like just kind of resting in place, I guess, but that doesn't really look right. But let's just go with that. Let it just be loose for the time being. Maybe it'll be tighter later on once we add something more onto there. Who knows? Dev asking, how do you organize your parts? I have, if you've ever seen in my live streams before, I use these like little organizers here like this, little separated organizers. So I'll have all the parts like separated, like leg parts here, one leg here, body parts here, usually waist parts here if we're building a Gundam kit. The problem is with this, it's a little bit different than building a normal Gundam kit, so the parts aren't exactly the same. So basically I separated out like all the body parts all together, the weapons parts all together, all the tail parts all together, and so on and so forth. But there's that section. Oh, now we need a couple more pieces on here. Let's see. Yeah, it's really weird. So I guess these pieces are going to help to hold that. It's just a little bit that I was struggling with. These are going to hold that in place, I guess. So, alright, I guess it doesn't really matter as much as I was making it out to. As long as these fit on here. And trust me, you are gonna fit on there. There we go. Bit of a tight squeeze, but there, and that does, it's fine on there now. Okay, so I was just worrying about that too much. Alright, I need some more poly caps over here. PCD should be that one there. These will fit into here. Does anyone else know if Milliput works better than Tamiya for modifying parts? As far as I've ever heard, Milliput and Tamiya work equally well. I've heard people preferring one over the other. I think usually what people prefer usually just comes down to availability. Like in the States, I think Milliput is a lot more readily available than Tamiya products generally, and probably cheaper as well, I imagine. So maybe that's why more people in the US probably tend to use Milliput more often, where here, I've never used Milliput, and I don't know if I've ever even seen it in the store here. I know what it is, but I've just always used Tamiya stuff, and I think most people do. So, as far as I've ever heard, yeah, not a huge difference in the quality, it's just mostly availability. But anyone else there in the chat who has more experience with that, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yep. There we go. Fading said, Milliput has multiple grades of fineness, which I believe Tamiya does too, though, does it not? Am I wrong about that? They're not super common. I can think I've only kind of really used like just the one grade, just kind of the general purpose one, but hey. Have heard of some people thinning down putty by mixing isopropyl alcohol or filing smaller seam lines. For filing smaller seam lines. I've never thinned it down with isopropyl alcohol, but just with thinner, lacquer thinner, and that does work. Yeah, for filing for smaller seam lines, I guess you could use it for that. I've just only ever used that for texture, thinning down putty, and then using that to make some texture. You can just brush it onto the kit at that point. Let's see. There is a front and back on these, so I'll make sure I'm not messing this up here. It's supposed to be like that. That's supposed to be like that. And these rods put on there. And there's gonna be our legs. Are gonna be attached onto here, I guess. And that's gonna attach up onto the bottom of there. Hold those pieces together like that. These pieces need to be put together here. Yes, green stuff is also another popular one. That's true. That'll just go onto there. No polycaps or anything on that, right? Yep. Okay, we're all good. All right. This one I put on here upside down. There you go. That, and we can attach these sections here, this one like that, this one like that, should plug together here. There we go, kind of like the base inside of the body there, and this one Gonna go onto here. Kind of tricky to see what I'm doing. This is like way down inside there, but there's that. There we go. And almost done with the body here. First, this part needs to go on here. All right. Yeah, it must be like that. All right. Oh. Like that. That goes on there. Then we attach this here onto the side. It's another one of those I can't really see inside there, but there you go. All right, fair enough. That's on there. And there. There we go. And finally, these little pieces on the side of here. And our body will be done. But there's, like I said, this body is only like half the story. There's quite a lot going on with the tail as well too. So that's gonna take a little while. So to put these parts together, I had this part. Where does the core go? It goes in last. So neck pieces and this, oh, those need to string through here. These cable bits, which are pretty cool. And that plugs into that polycap there. That's this seam line here on the top of this part's going to be kind of annoying, I think. And then where do those go? Then from that point, is that the part like backwards or something? No, here we go. Those gonna go all the way through to the back. And what about these little guys? Where are those supposed to go? Up into where? Just into here, I guess, but let's get these in here first. Get all these cable bits all lined up. It's kind of hard to string them all four in at the same time. There you go. Come on, don't get stuck. And also need to kind of lock this into place up in here. Seems like it's going to be a little bit of a trick. Yeah, figured something's going to break off in the process. I'll have to try to fix that. These go ahead and go into there. Needs to fit up onto a peg inside there. That's like the way that this needs to go together. Seems like it was not really engineered in the best way, because you need to push this onto a peg up inside there, and it's like, how are you supposed to do that? There you go. You need to use a tool or something, I would recommend. But when it does finally fit together, it's looking very cool. So there's our head and all that, and this part should slot up into there. I don't really know. It's not very clear in the manual. It just says put it up in there. So there you go. It's in there, I guess. Doesn't really feel like it's really plugged into anything. And these parts just came apart here on the front, so I guess don't force it too hard. If it's up there and it's in place, then just leave it alone, I guess. Yes, there's kind of a little thing where it's supposed to slot into there like that, kind of between the chest pieces there, so. Alright, there you go. Alright, so that feels secure once you kind of press on that a little bit. Manual's not very good at explaining that one necessarily, but fair enough. There you go. So there's the upper body, or kind of the body, I guess, minus the tail, and now we get to build the tail, which honestly I'm not really looking forward to, because as I keep saying, we have a lot of pieces here in the tail. And it's just going to be kind of complicated because the tail is like, I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections basically. We have like, you're building like the same section like 4 times basically. We have the big size, smaller size, smaller size, smaller size. And so the construction of each section is like basically the same, but with slightly smaller pieces as you move down the line. So it's going to be, I think, a little bit confusing, making sure I'm using the right pieces. But again, there was not really any good way for me to cut and separate these parts out anymore other than like having to use a second box, which I guess I could have done, but who's got time for that? Just don't have the resources. Let's see, and I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat a little bit, but just a reminder to you guys, if you're watching live and you want to ask any questions or anything like that related to this kit or just kind of whatever, if you want to ask any questions to me, just tag me in your comment or something so I can pick it out of the chat easier. Or put your question in all caps is another option as well too, but whichever is more comfortable for you guys. Fading said, really like how thorough your reviews are. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. I'll try to cover everything. Honestly, because I want to be informative for you guys. But in all actuality, at least part of the reasoning is that if I miss something in the reviews, someone will point it out to me in the comments, and I would rather be thorough in the video than have it to read like 5 people pointing out the same thing in the comments. Like, you forgot this part, or whatever. You forgot that it does this, or you didn't show that it does this, something. And understandably, I mean, like, I almost never comment on any videos, but if I did, I don't read all other comments first to check like, oh, did someone else already say the same thing? So I don't blame people for not doing that, but yeah, usually if it's something like I missed or something like that, multiple people will point it out. Like, a really good example of this would be to go back and watch my review of the HG Revive Gundam Mark II. In that video, I mentioned something about how the Mark II's shield didn't collapse like it's supposed to. And I just missed that in the manual. I missed the part where it shows you how to do that. And like, that review was years and years ago when that kit actually came out. It's a few years ago now. And every so often I still get a new comment on that video. Someone saying like, oh, the shield actually does collapse. You have to just do like this and fold it, whatever, like that. Like, yeah, dude. This review is like 3 or 4 years old at this point, and there's like 15 or 20 or 30 other comments all saying the same thing. You don't need to let me know about that at this point, but yeah, that happens. How goes the paint prep painting on the Master Grade EX Unicorn RFR? The Unicorn is all prepped and washed, and I will hopefully get some time to start the priming process later today. So I'll be priming everything up, and I'm probably working on like the main kit first, and then working on the base and the MS cage kind of second, separately, not doing them all at once. So I'll be working on that, and then like between coats of like primer and paint and all that, and clear coat, I can start prepping the cage as well too, so kind of go back and forth. And then Mr. Mikado, anything I should know about the MG Barbatos before I start building? Got the Gundam base clear version. Well, from my recent experience building the clear armor of the Master Grade Zaku 2 kit that I built, using a glass file for the nubs on those clear parts really helped a lot, so I would recommend getting yourself one of those. It was very useful for the nubs on those clear parts. Other than that, not really. The Master Grade Barbatos is a little bit more complex on Master Grade, but nothing you can't handle, I'm sure. Sis Super Droid said, washing kits before painting isn't really necessary these days, is it? It depends. I mean, it's never really super necessary, but especially if you're going to be sanding a kit a bunch, which you should, before painting, I think it's probably good to get rid of all that sanding dust and oil all from your hands, handling the parts a bunch, doing all your nub removal and sanding and all that. You just got a bunch of oil and grime on those parts, so sanding them or washing all that off, probably not a bad idea. You know, how much of a difference that's going to make, I don't know, probably not a huge difference, but if you're not in a big hurry, you know, why not? Might as well. Just before painting. Now, long time ago, in like my first like building tutorial series, I talked about washing the actual runners like before you get to building. That's unnecessary. That was kind of stupid of me at the time, but hey, what can you do? So yeah, that's unnecessary. I wouldn't recommend doing that. There's no reason to. Especially if you're just snap building the kit. There's really the only time you need to wash is just before painting. And it's just to make sure that your paint is sticking as best as possible. You don't want anything scratching off if you can avoid it. So, you know, sanding, washing, all that stuff is not going to guarantee that nothing's going to happen to your paint, but at the very least, it will help, you know, a little bit, and every little bit helps, I think. What thinner do I use with primer? Well, for me, I was always using just kind of regular Mr. Hobby thinner. With primer, I use the leveling thinner when I do with paint. I use the leveling thinner. But for primer, I was just using this regular thinner. But recently, after some like trial and error of kind of finding out that I was getting some nasty texture in my paint, and was figuring out that it was basically because I was doing that. I was using a regular thinner, and I should have been using leveling thinner. Can't really focus today. Sorry about that. So yeah, I would recommend just using leveling thinner. Leveling thinner with your surfacer and with your paint. Leveling thinner, I know also, though, not as easy to get maybe necessarily. If you have like a local hobby shop or something like that, they probably have regular thinner, but they might not have leveling thinner. So I don't know. If you can get it and you're not paying through the roof for it, leveling thinner is what you want. A while ago, you ranked the protagonist Gundam kits. Anything in the works for antagonist kits? Fading, yes, that is not necessarily in the works. I just need to get ready. I just need to prepare like the thing for it. But yeah, we're planning on doing another Gunpla Talk episode where we're going to be ranking the antagonist not necessarily kits, but just the antagonist mobile suits. So yeah, we did all like the protagonist mobile suits one. That was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun reading through everyone's hate comments on that too, because like we were putting it as like and like I reposted it on Facebook as like the definitive official list of like power ranking of Gundams, and people were getting just all kinds of upset about that. It was kind of funny. It's like obviously it was a joke, and we mentioned it like a dozen times throughout the video, like, oh guys, this is just us like just messing around, but still of course people get upset. So what do you do? What can you do? So yeah, we're definitely, Josh and I and Simon are definitely looking forward to doing another one of those. Let's see. Yeah, so this is going to be the issue with this section. And I think we're just going to go ahead also kind of put a couple more of these little bits together. Just kind of get some of these parts out of the way. Antagonist Rosenzulu. The Rosenzulu probably won't be on the list because for Unicorn antagonist, I'm sure we'll just do Shinanju. But if we like keep it up and just do like other like ace mobile suits or something like that, then maybe we'll have to do something where we can include the Rosenzulu, because you guys know I do love the Rosenzulu. So any chance to get it on any kind of list is fine by me, but we'll have to see what we can do about that. These parts are for much later on. So I've not only got the parts here for the tail, but there's also a few finishing parts that like once the tail is done, then like to attach the tail and body together, there's a few parts that like you'll use for all that and everything. So kind of got all those parts all together here as well too, like the finishing parts for the body. And so those I'll just kind of set aside over here first, just so they're out of the way. Yeah, that was another one of those. Just so we have less clutter here. Yep, those also. Tips? Any tips for panel lining? New to Gundam building. Robert, to answer your question about panel lining, there's about a million different ways that you can do panel lining. Probably the most common would be either Gundam markers, which can work fine, like the panel lining markers, or Tamiya accent color, which is a liquid product, which is basically just really just thinned down enamel paint essentially, which you can make on your own just with enamel paint and enamel thinner. So what would I recommend? If you're just planning on just snap building your kits and you're not planning on painting, I would just recommend just the Bandai panel lining markers, and then I think you can just use like an eraser to clean those up as well too. So pretty simple, nothing too complicated. That'll probably be the easiest. If you are planning on painting though, I recommend the Tamiya accent color. Works pretty good. Usually. There's multiple colors that you can get as well too. How do you clean lacquer paint off a part? I heard to use Purple Power or OxyClean, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, anything like that. The product that I use is different. It's some Korean product here, but it's basically the same kind of thing. Anything that's like a industrial strength degreaser, kind of like that, is what will be enough to get that off there. Don't use like thinner or anything like that. Anything, just a cleaning agent. Yeah, like Purple Power as well. I know, especially in America, a lot of people use Purple Power. You guys can get it there, like large amounts for very cheap. It's not. We don't have it here in Korea though. Kale, haven't caught a live stream in ages. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you around here in ages. Now that you mention it, Welcome back, though. And glad you could catch this one. I'm slowly but surely making my way through this build. But, let's see. I think emphasis on the slowly. So I need to sort out these parts here. I think those are here. Checking the size of these. So like I said, we've got a bunch of different sizes of these little fin parts here. Alright, so these are the biggest ones. So these are the ones we surely need right now. And Super Droids, what is the fundamental difference between Kotobukiya and Bandai Plastic again? I think Kotobukiya is double baked or something. As a result, it's harder, more brittle too. Yes, that's exactly it. Kotobukiya, it's not like that it's double baked. I think Bandai doesn't do it at all, as far as I've heard. Kotobukiya, yeah, put their plastic through like a secondary, or no, I guess it's like a secondary. It's not like a secondary bake, I should say a secondary. Oh, shit, sorry, hang on. A secondary process of baking them, yeah, which I guess makes them harder, but also kind of slightly more brittle, I guess, something like that. But that's one reason why Kotobukiya kits tend to cost a little more. It's because of this added process, which Bandai doesn't do. So yeah, again, don't, take that with a grain of salt, because that's what I think Lincoln told me before, and I trust that he would know, so I trust his information, but it's not something we talked about in depth. He just kind of mentioned it, and so I would take his word for it, but it's just a matter of, didn't really discuss it at great length. How do you feel about the direction Bandai is going in MG and PG kits, more LEDs and gimmicks rather than fine detail or high part count? I don't know, the MG Barbatos had a fine detail and high part count. That's what I liked about it. That's why I liked that kit, is because it was really a much more complex build. So, I mean, just because, I don't know, they kind of lean more to one way for one particular kit, or a couple of kits maybe in a row, it's not necessarily a sign of any particular trend or anything. Like, for example, we had the MG Jagan come out, which was last year, I believe, right? Not too long ago. That was a really super simple MG. And then we had the Zaku Phantom as well out, which was also a more simple MG. But then we had the Barbatos come out, which was a much more complex MG. So I mean, they kind of go back and forth, and there's not really any particular. I don't believe. There's not really too much to read into that, other than just that they just do some kits a little bit differently sometimes. Yes. E10, E11, and E12. So these parts are, this is the trouble I was worried about. Like, these parts are numbered differently. One is number 10, one's number 11, and one's number 12. But they look indistinguishable from each other, don't they? As far as I can tell, there's nothing making anyone look too different from the others, so I'm just gonna guess that this is the right one that we need. And I think that's all for this section. We can close that up. There you go. And put a couple of these little guys in the side of here for a little dash of color. There you go. So like there's one section there of the tail, and you'll have these bits will open up, and then these little fins on the inside, which you'll need to use some tweezers for it to open those up. So you have a lot of stuff opening up here on the tail like that. Closes up easily though, so that's good. Alright, so there's one section down. 3 more to go. So we're gonna need this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. They are medium-sized little fins. Should be 4 of those as well too. I think those 4. Zach, will you tell, let's see, what are you saying? Blue Falcon or Zach, will you tell USA Gundam Store? Tell USA Gundam Store what? Zach will tell you USA Gundam Store. What's the trusted site to buy a kit off of? Yeah, Max, of course, USA Gundam Store, but not this kit. We don't sell this kit because we can't sell this kit at USA Gundam Store, unfortunately, but other kits, of course, yeah, USA Gundam Store, you can use my discount code there. Definitely check that out. RFR, do you think we'll see an Asimer in MG as part of the AOZ line? Probably not. Not unless they were to make, yeah, no. I mean, unless, if they made an MG Wound War, then we might see like the K-Heart 2, which is like Asimer, or is there an Asimer 2? I don't remember if there's an Asimer 2 or not. If it's something that's like based off of the Wound War, then maybe if we get a Wound War first, but we'd have to get a Master Grade Wound War first, which I still think that it's very possible that Bandai will go ahead and make a full on Master Grade Wound War. I don't know for sure, and that's a little bit kind of pie in the sky, but they've made a number of different HG variants at this point, obviously, so I mean, they must be popular enough. People are buying up all the HGs. So, you know, obviously an MG is much more of an investment, and it's something that will definitely have to be P Bandai still, so they have to just, you know, I guess sort of weigh out their options, if that's going to be viable for them to invest that much money into the production of that or not. But it would be cool, you know, fingers crossed. Definitely going to be P Bandai, unfortunately, but yeah. We need some Master Grade Wound War. Who wouldn't love that? So, I don't know. We'll see. I think that's definitely not going to be something that's going to happen anytime soon, because I think with Bandai dealing with the impacts of COVID on their production process and everything, they probably just don't really have the resources to invest into something like that at the moment, so. No, that doesn't want to fit in there, does it? And this one's not right either. That's too small. So I guess this is right. Feels like that's not really in there though. That's too big. Well, let's just wait and see, I guess. That seems right, but it doesn't really seem like it wants to fit in there. How about on the other side? No, that's weird. Did I put that one in wrong? Maybe I put that... Shoot! I have to take this part. I think I put the wrong piece in there. Let's see. No, that one's too loose for that. That one fits in there just right, so I think that was wrong. And so then which one of you is going to fit in here? There you go. That's a better fit for that. So see, it all works out. Even though those parts, I couldn't tell which one is the right part, but I figured it out because then suddenly it didn't fit. And that seems like a pretty good indicator that it's the wrong piece. And I think we'll find out the same thing with these ones as well too. But with these ones, they certainly look very much the same. So I think we'll be alright. These ones as well too. Let's see. It's not that. Must be these. Yes, love the Geno Saurer. Hate I didn't have money for it on its initial release. Well, it's back around again for another release, in case you couldn't get it the first time around. This is the other great thing about these repackaged versions is that if it's a kit that, if it's a Zoids kit that maybe you've been eyeing for a while, now's a good chance to get it with even more stuff in the box. In this case, again, it's just the addition of the waterslide decals, which are very nice, by the way. You'll see it in the, you'll see them in the review video, of course, but just to give you guys a look, here's the waterslide decal sheet that comes with this. I mean, bruh. Very nice, isn't it? Yes, indeed. And loads on there too, so if you got like a couple of Zoids kits, I'm sure a lot of those you could put on other stuff. You don't necessarily have to put them all onto the Geno Saurer here, because you'll probably have more than you really need. And I want to skip ahead a little bit. Rather than finishing building the tail first, I'm going to just go ahead and put this on here. Now, I guess this is where I could find out if I use the right pieces or not, because these pins are also numbered differently as well too, but they basically look the same. I think they are basically the same, so we'll find out. If it doesn't fit, then we'll have some problems. But looks like it's gonna fit, so I think we'll be alright. That could be the thing though. Well, it looks the same, so we just need to push that down there a little bit more or what? well, if I can get that out of there. When in doubt, let's try a different pin. If that one's a little bit tight. I think it is, there's like a little tab on there that's meant to slot down right into exactly one specific position. And if that's not just lined up just right, that might be what's kind of blocking us from putting that in all the way. But this one seemed to be doing the same thing, so I don't think that it's a problem with that. Because they all look the same. Let me see here. Yeah, there can't be that much of a difference with those pieces, so 2, 3, and 5. Oh, there's one more over here, isn't there? Which might be the right one. So I think they might be slightly different lengths as well too. Let me check here. Well, this one is definitely a little bit longer than the others, so I guess it makes sense that it would maybe go here in the front position, possibly. Kind of guess and test, I guess. These parts, had I known, maybe I wouldn't have, I would have left these little guys on the runner so I could know which one's which, but what are you gonna do? It's just kind of hard to see because the parts are black too, so it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Oof. Well, that doesn't seem right either, so... Fuck, man. I think that one goes here in the front though, so let me just put this one on here first. Hang on. This one on here. Okay. This one on here, and I think this one goes here in the front then, probably. Gundam Zoids kit bash? Ooh, I don't know about that, but... well, I mean, actually, Gundam Zoids kit bash, or not necessarily kit bash, but like, kind of team build is something that I've talked about doing that I wanted to do for a long time. If you guys have been watching my channel, if you've seen my past Zoids reviews, you know that doing a team up of like a Gundam kit and a Zoids kit like paired together is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So sometime I'll have to get around to doing one of those. But on another note, the other kit that I've just built up over the past weekend was the Megami Device Ninetails kit, the Astro Ninetails. And with that kit, I have a cool idea. There we go, that one fit right into place on that, so I guess that works. With the Astro Ninetails kit, which is still over there, I can't show it to you quite yet, but I'll work on the review for that. My plan, I also have the Hexagear Rayblade Impulse Rayblade Impulse, right? The blue kind of one version of that kit, of the Impulse Hexagear kit coming in, which doesn't really have much of a tail on it. It's kind of got like this like short little tail. I've been thinking about like what to do with that kit, like what I could possibly really do with that. It seems like it needs to be kind of teamed up with something. So I thought, and I don't like with the Astro Ninetails kit, I don't necessarily really, it's a cool design, but I don't really like, oh, it just has too much stuff going on with all the Ninetails. I know it's like the whole point of it, right, to have the kind of Ninetails aspect of that, but it's a little bit much for me. So what I'm thinking is doing a kind of kit bash of the two, like take some of like all like the excess parts of the Ninetails Astro Archer and use those on the Impulse Hexagear kit and turn that into like an actual like nine-tailed fox, because it's sort of like fox looking-esque already. I think it's supposed to be more like kind of wolf looking maybe, but close enough. Use some of those parts on the Hexagear kit, and then have the actual Megami Device kit without so much stuff going on and have it a little bit more simplified. And I think that'll be pretty cool. That's my idea anyway. So we'll see. we'll see how that goes. I also want to go ahead and just attach the tail on here to the body before we move on to finishing the tail, just because I'm a little bit impatient here. So just go ahead and get this all put together, but I'll talk more about that idea, I think, once I get the Ray Blade Impulse Hexagear kit in, once it's on the way. So I'll try to build that up pretty soon, as soon as I get that, and then we'll see what we can do with that guy. No. Where do these little guys go? Huh. Yes, here. Like that. The very end of the tail, and then there's supposed to be two tiny little pieces which fit into the end here, which I'm wondering if I forgot to cut them off the runner, because I don't remember two super tiny little pieces there like that. And fortunately I do still have the runners. I haven't thrown them away yet, but they're not here. So I think I've missed those two tiny little pieces that go in the tail there. I'll have to go get those off the runner. Hopefully I didn't like cut them off and then just lose the pieces, but I'd assume they're probably just still hanging out on the runner. I forgot to cut them off. Two tiny little pieces that go here at the very end of the tail, which I guess are probably purple, if I had to guess. If I can see here in the pictures, yeah. A couple little purple bits right at the very end of the tail. Oops! Careful with that. That's kind of surprising. All right. Anyway, let's continue on here, shall we? So this one then must be. Let's see which one is the better fit. That one fits well. This one fits kind of equally well. So it's definitely that one. That's not that. So this one goes here, that, and this one gonna go here, like that. And our tiny little flat pieces. So that's the thing. There's two of these sections per section of the tail. 4 sections of the tail, so there's 8 of these bits, and 2 little flaps per piece. So 16 of these little flaps to not get all mixed up and everything. If we can help it. Let's see, Junkyard Gus said, I got that Mechatro We Go with the little frame arms girl, pretty fun to build. Yeah, that was a fun one. I like that, but I'm actually planning on cannibalizing that Mechatro kit, actually, possibly. It was a fun combo set, but I don't think I'm gonna keep them comboed for too much longer. And did you guys see that there's also coming out a Mechatro We Go Evangelion set, where basically what you get with it, I think, is just a little kind of cartoony looking figure of Rey included with the Mechatro. Do you guys see that? You know what I'm talking about? I think that's not out until December or January or something, I want to say. Are you planning on getting the Motoroid Ikaruga? Which one was that? I am planning on getting the Motoroid Patlabor kits that are coming out, but which one was the Ikaruga? I forget. Let me see here. Hang on. Maybe not, if I don't remember. Motoroid Ikaruga. Oh yeah, that one. No. I don't plan on getting that one. It's kind of cool. It's not really to my taste though. It's a little bit kind of not really my style. Looks pretty wild though, like with the, what's it, we got 4 or 6 arms on there. It's pretty interesting. But no, I don't plan on getting that one. Nice. Okay, so that section is done. Let's go ahead and get this one on here. It's time to play the guessing game on which pin it is. I think it's probably this one. Yep, there we go. We also have, of course, our Zoids caps. Gotta have those on there as well too. And let's see, there was one shorter one, it's different than the rest. Oh, how am I supposed to get this on there? I think I should have put this on earlier. But, okay. That needs to then go on that little piece up in there, which I've already got attached, and so I'm gonna try to get that on without having to take anything apart. Yeah, I think I can do it. Ew, there we go. Gotcha. And then one here on the top here as well too. A couple more here on the bottom. I like that they're gray for this one. I think on like the Liger, I think they're usually red, right? And on other different kits they're oftentimes red, but. Alright, now the tiny little flaps here, the last segment of the tail. Emphasis on how tiny these little flaps are, and they're kind of tricky to get to stay together, so I'm doing it very carefully so I can get this together without anything falling apart. There you go. Yep. That. And this one like that, right? I guess it doesn't matter. Like that. And the last one here. So the tail section, which I've been dreading the entire time, is now finally just about done. And that's a big relief for me. If I can just get this to stay on here. I'm actually kind of surprised that this is the version of this kit that I ended up building first. I actually kind of like the red version. What's that? The Geno Breaker? Right? Is that right? The red one? I like that one. Actually, kind of like just like design-wise, probably a little bit more. This one's pretty cool though too. I mean, and then the Berserk Fury. It's also not. I mean, it's similar. Slightly different, right? I know it's not exactly the same, but Berserk Fury is also another one that I really like the design of, but I've not actually built the HMM version of that yet, so. Okay, I guess that's right. That's gonna be held in place there like that. Why is, okay, there you go. Kind of. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any experience casting or printing parts? No, I don't. I never have tried that. Let's see. This last little purple segment in there. And where do those little cappies go? On the top. Okay, so we'll get to those in a second. Yeah, so the thing with Zoids kits, I don't really like the ones that have like just shitloads of guns on them. Like there's another repackaged version that's I think coming out, which is a version of the Raptor, right? I forget exactly what it's called. But it's just like a little Raptor body with like a mountain of guns on its back, and it's just kind of way over the top. Like this one has just the couple of big guns, like the the Berserk Fury has like those big kind of cannon things, but it's like not, I don't know, so it's just got too much. Ugh. D'Angelo, thank you once again for using the super chat there. He said, I'm thinking of getting a Frame Arms Girl kit, and the Stylet catches my eye. However, I saw the Durga kit and thinking of getting that instead. Ideas? Yeah, I don't know. There's a few different versions of the Stylet, so you have more options there, I guess. The Durga's coming out, and that looks cool as well too. I have the Stylet. If you're gonna get a Stylet version, I think the original Stylet was the very first Frame Arms Girl, if I remember correctly, right? So different versions of the original Stylet, maybe not going to be quite as nice as the XF3. The XF3 is like kind of the upgraded version of that, and this is the low visibility version. There's just a regular version as well too, which came out first in blue. And I think this is nicer. I've not built it yet, obviously. I didn't build the blue version. It's only until the low visibility version came out that I decided to pick this up. But yeah, if you're gonna go, if you're going to go for a Stylet, I would get the XF3, the newer version of that. But I think the Durga wouldn't be bad necessarily, so we'll just have to wait and see. Because it's brand new, I mean, I can only assume that's going to be pretty nice. Let's see, we need a little polycap here, don't we? CE. Dale as well too. Dale also, thank you for using the YouTube super chat there. Without, let's see, okay, this goes in here. Hang on. Like that. For the top of the body. Here, and then this section fits over the top of that. Like that. Okay. And then you have these little caps here that go on the side. Now I wonder if like on a different version of this kit there was something else that was plugged onto the side of there or not. Why that's just kind of covered with a little cap now here. Seems kind of a little bit odd. But there's our main body and tail all done. Very long now. Let me give you guys a measurement on the kind of full length of him now. In centimeters, gonna be about 36 centimeters in length. In inches, it'd be about 14 inches from snoot to toot. There you go, minus the couple little parts there at the tail, which I need to remember to take off. I had to try to remember that. He spent half an hour looking for a polycap to be dropped. That's no good. So the manual says to build the weapons next, which I am tempted to build the legs next, but I'll just follow the manual and build the weapons next. Weapons, much fewer parts, so I guess that'll be a nice little break before we get to the very parts heavy legs to to build a little bit slightly simpler section of this here first, maybe. As you can see, still a fair number of parts here, just for the weapons on its back. So, where do we start? There's kind of a we build a left half and a right half, I suppose, so like that. Ooh. I think those parts are going to be basically the same. Yeah, they are. We need a polycap, a PCM, which is that big one there. Alright. Cybernetics said, I built a Zoid when I was like 8, like almost 20 years ago. So if it's 20 years ago, then sounds like that probably was not one of the Kotobukiya HMM kits then. Not sure when they started making them, but 20 years ago sounds unlikely. So it's probably one of the Tomitech kits, I would imagine. Motorized ones, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. I have built one of those. I did a review on that of the old motorized Berserk Fury kit. And yeah, not great. I mean, if you're into it for like just, let's see, hang on. How does this go on here? It's the wrong side, maybe. If you're in for like just the fun factor or funny factor of having a walking Zoids kit, then that could be cool. This guy, let's see. Which one of these? Which one is correct? They look the same. So I'm gonna guess this one. There you go, like that and like that. Okay, then, let's see. 16. This piece goes this one here, inside of there, like that. All right. Ouch. And this one inside of here, like that. Okay. Thank you. And this one goes in the front. Are Zoids kits original mecha designs or based on something? Oh, they're from the TV show. So, I think there's been a couple of different Zoids anime series, right? So that is what they would be from. I don't know if there's also like any of the designs that are also maybe from any manga or something like that as well too. Not that I know of, but it's possible. I don't know a whole lot about Zoids. Like I said, I watched it when it was on Toonami, long time ago, and that's all I've ever seen or known about it. Which was also, yes, about 20 years ago. For me as well. It was cool. It was like kind of interesting. They had a kind of interesting vibe to the whole series because they had like like for the most part, it was all like kind of very lighthearted and just kind of silly, goofy, kind of very kids anime seemed like. But it did have some kind of like darker moments as far as I can remember, right? So I don't know. You guys feel that way? Did you guys Chaotic Sentry? Yes, thank you, Speedball. That's why I was thinking that it was. I wasn't sure. Yeah, Chaotic Sentry. Right. Any of you guys also remember watching it back in the day? Like, yeah, like 20 years ago? On Toonami? Share your fond memories. Does anyone know why we haven't gotten a Gundam 3.0 HG? Was the design just not popular? Huh? Dale, you mean like a 3.0 sort of version of the RX-78-2 Gundam HG kit? Is that what you're talking about? Because we kind of did, in the fact that we got the Origins version and the G40 and the Beyond Global version. All those versions I know are not necessarily 3.0s, but we've certainly had lots of new versions. And popularity is definitely not an issue. I mean, popularity of the RX-78-2 is never really going to be an issue. Bandai is always up for making a new version of their pride and joy. Andrew said one of the Zoids anime is on Netflix. I don't think it's on Netflix here in Korea, unfortunately. I'd have to check. Where'd it go? There should be. Where's that piece? I think I dropped it somewhere in here. Here you are. Gotcha. That's meant to plug onto the top of here. Alright. And this one goes on the bottom. Like that. What about these big vent pieces here? Go on the back of here, eh? Liger Panzer was the best Liger. Yeah, that's the one that I've got in my backlog that I need to get around to building. So I built the Liger Jaeger and Schneider, but not yet the Panzer. And probably won't build. Well, there's the guns anyway. Okay, so that's all done. So those just move individually, and that's kind of really about it. There's not really a whole lot much else you can do with those. They look very nice, of course, though. Got some massive seam line on that, but also not really very surprising. So that just plugs onto the top of there, easy peasy. I feel like that's a pretty tight fit, so turning that, I wonder if it's gonna kind of break these pieces apart here. A little bit worried, so I'm gonna not mess around with that too much or be careful when I'm rotating that gun. But let's build the legs, even though actually in the manual you're supposed to build the arms next. I want to get this guy standing, so I want to build the legs next. You seriously still at this? I left 2 hours ago. Go to sleep. Well, considering it's 11:42 a.m., I'm not really too sleepy yet, but I'll go to sleep later, much later, in about 14 15 hours from now or so, I suppose. Let's see. It's too bad Zoids Genesis never got a dub. I wouldn't know about that. Like I said, not really followed like what's been out in Zoids world other than just, as you said, Chaotic Sentry, which is the one that was on Toonami, I guess. Or I don't know, did Toonami ever play other Zoids series other than just that one? Not as far as I know, but let's see. Legs. Okay, PC. I need a couple of polycaps here. J, G, and a G. J is this one here. G and G look very similar, so I'm going to make sure I don't mix those up. That one goes up in here at the top. Yeah. And these ones go in here at the bottom. 1 and 2. There you go. Chaotic Sentry, they played early morning. Pretty cool. The Zoids design and Wild are pretty cool though. Me personally, I don't really like the Zoids Wild designs, as I've said a few times, I'm sure, but yeah, not a fan, me personally. There's a couple that are like kind of okay, maybe. Like when I first saw it, I thought those could be kind of cool, because they look, I mean, they have a lot more like organic looking sections to them, I guess. Like a lot of the armor is a lot more kind of like organic looking than I guess some of these older designs. But I don't know. We'll have to see what the Kotobukiya kits end up looking like. They did both Chaotic Sentry and Century Zero. Sports teams matches. Then maybe Century Zero is the one that I watched, the sports teams matches, because that's what it was, more of like a sports team kind of thing as far as I can remember, with BitCloud and the Liger Zero and the different forms of the Liger Zero. I don't know if both the series have the Liger Zero, but yeah. Some more polycaps here, I guess. There was Zoids Fusors too. Ah, yes. Let's see, these go into the sides of here. Zoid's New Century had Liger Zero. Okay, well that's the one that I saw then. I don't remember other like war themed one. That's the second series, New Soldiers. Okay, yeah. Fusor sucked. Well, the name sounds kind of dumb, to be honest, so the fact that it sucked maybe not too surprising. Oops. Honestly, when I'm just hearing Fusors, and especially anything like animal related like Zoids, I'm just thinking of Beast Wars. Is that just me, or you guys also? You following me on that? Fusor's was strange police. Felt a bit like Power Rangers. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't like how that tastes. Step 2 is this piece here, which goes into this side. Here, like that. Oh, don't you dare. And then step 3, putting another polycap in. Step 4 is putting this piece into here. Where? Into there. Like that. Arrgh. Evan says Fusor's was lit. Maybe you guys are just haters. Lucas said he had the exact same thought about Beast Wars. Yeah. Silverbolt. Exactly. And Quick Strike, right, was the other guy? Let's see, then step 5 is to put this section onto here. There's a lot going on with this particular step of the construction, so I'm going to make sure I'm following the instructions carefully. Step 6, we need to close this all up. Close this all up. That. Okay, step 7 is we got this part and another part, 2 pieces already put together, but I don't know what that piece looked like, so it's kind of hard. Well, see, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. Be useful if I knew what color it was supposed to be. No, it's this kind of, this piece here, this one. There you go. That's like that. This little piece fits onto here. And this section of putting the light together here is a little bit complicated, so just trying to make sure I don't mess anything up. Got that, and then another one of these, which plug onto here. Like that. And where's the other one? Seven, 8. That's on there. Shoot. There. Get on there. There you go. And that's gonna be somewhere on the back of the foot, I guess. That's on there. Then we can plug this onto here. And there we go. Phew. Let's see. Speedball Haro. What did you say? If you didn't know, now there's the new Netflix Transformers. WFC. What's WFC? Transformers WFC series, and the third part is called Kingdom with Beast Wars characters. I had seen something, I can't think of what WFC stands for, but I'd seen something about that, yeah. Someone posted something about that, how it's going to have Beast Wars characters in it or something, I guess. Man Fox, Lightning Sykes, yeah, I know. War for Cybertron, yes, thank you, that's what it was. Lightning Sykes and both the Shadow Fox as well too are ones that also come very highly recommended in this line. I've not built either of those kits, but I often see those being recommended as well too. So if you guys are looking for any of these kits from this series, from the Kotobukiya's HMM series of Zoids kits, yeah, the Lightning Sykes and the Shadow Fox are both supposed to be really nice as well too. So this is kind of cool. You have to put in each of these little fins individually here for this section. And then that fits into here. Supposed to. There we go. Ooh, very nice. And where does that go? Okay. So once again, I'm gonna follow the instructions carefully. Don't wanna make any mistakes now. We're doing good. A couple little hiccups there right at the start. Putting a couple little bits together wrong, but been fine so far, kind of the rest of the way. Aside from just there on the tail, not really knowing which part is meant to go where, because I don't know what numbers they were, but other than that, we're doing pretty good. And this piece, not really, kind of difficult to get this into place here. There we go. And this actually goes inside of here, like that. And then step one, put this, oh, don't come out of there, now it's coming apart again. It's not good. Come on. Probably going to be one of the parts that is going to be recommended to glue. Anyway, step one, place this on top of there. Step two, this section, which is also another sub-assembly. Come on. Step two, place this on the front of here, like that. What do you think, Area Amao? What do you think about the walking Gundam? Have you seen the videos? Yeah, I've seen the videos, and I don't know if people realize this in the videos or not. Because for me, something that I find kind of disappointing about the videos, or just like, it takes the wind out of my sails a little bit when watching those videos, to see that the videos sped up a lot. So you see the video of like the Gundam moving its arm, something like that, or moving its leg, or kind of walking, and like, I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but those videos are sped up a lot. So it's actually moving very slowly. So that kind of is not very exciting for me. I mean, I don't know, I've talked about this a little bit with Josh. And I don't know, I don't really like the design of the Gundam for one, so that's like strike one, I guess. The other thing... What? Shut up! Who? Thank you. Coffee delivery. My wife, I guess, is given by someone else though, but yeah, the moving of the Gundam is super slow, so I feel like it just won't be very impressive. And when it's doing like the walking sequence, it doesn't look like it's walking. It just looks like it's just moving its legs while it's moving forward. And like I know, you know, you gotta be realistic about it. It's not gonna actually walk. But I don't know. It looks so unconvincing that it's just kind of a little bit not very exciting for me personally. That said, I'm sure it'll be cool to see it in person. So, you know, it'll be exciting when you can go there and actually see it in person and see how big it is and everything. But also just the fact that I saw the original full-size RX-78-2 Gundam now more than 10 years ago. So like 10 years of seeing full-size Gundam, it's gonna lose its effect a little bit. It's gonna be not as exciting when you've seen full-size Gundams for 10 years, right? I've seen it in the RX-78 a number of times, and then seen the Unicorn now a number of times as well too, so I don't know. But yeah, like I said, we'll see. It'll be cool to see it in person, but and because it's also at the Yokohama factory as well too, not like as close by as Daiba, and even Daiba's not that close by, so it's kind of a pain when you go to Tokyo. It's kind of a pain to go to Daiba. So it kind of like takes all day. You know, again, setting aside I mean, you just take that, you know, as someone who's seen it a few times, and you know, obviously, if you're going to Tokyo like for the first time, you've never seen the full-size Gundam before, then obviously it's gonna be totally worth the effort of going to Daiba, and like I would definitely recommend you guys to do it, and like even, you know, probably more than once while you're staying there. Oh, that's kind of weird. If you're staying in Tokyo for a little while, if you only have like a couple days, then you won't really have time. But if you have the time to go to Daiba to see the Gundam a couple times, then yeah, why not? But after you've seen it a few times, it's not as exciting. This piece keeps wanting to come off, doesn't it? It came out secretly. I didn't even notice. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a little glue on this part because it's very inconsequential to being glued. It's not gonna bother anything later on or anything like that. There you go. So set that glue down there. Any particularly good MG kits of designs with funnels come to mind? Well, the Sasbi Verka, definitely. It's a great one. With funnels, what else has funnels? I mean, like the new Verka, if you like fin funnels, but it's a little bit different. I suppose you're talking about like Xeon style funnels. The Master Grade Cubile is pretty old, so I don't know, unless you're a big fan of the Cubile, then maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of really the only thing that's really coming to mind offhand. I don't know. Anyone there in the chat, also feel free to make any recommendations for a master grade with funnels. But I think as far as like good master grade with funnels, the only thing that's really coming to mind immediately is just the Verka Sasbi. Interesting. You? Meant to plug this onto here, and it's kind of tricky to do that. There we go. And that flap up there opens up on the back. Very cool. E1 and E1. Going to... what's that? Ah, this one here. So this needs to go onto here first. Okay. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here and try to focus on the piece in hand. That goes there. And that one there. And that's all for this section. Right? Yes, I guess so. Okay. Moving on. Just gonna go ahead and put this one on here just because I want to skip ahead to this. Pop that on there like that. One little cap here, one on the opposite side, I suppose. And then a couple down here as well too, one here and here. And then probably here on the side of the knee, I guess there also. Okay, yes, sure, why not? Let's go ahead and just pop that on there. Here we go, guessing that's right. I hope that I'm correct. Yes, it seems like that's the case, except on the inside here, we don't need that piece there. I need to take that off. Actually, this little piece goes on here. Just cap that like so. And there should be two more left to go on the foot. Yes, okay, so there's the leg. That's done. Let's put together the foot. In which case, we need this one, and those other little tiny piston parts, which are where? Ah. There's one. And here's the other one, right? Why did I have that hiding out in the section with the arms? Strange. Ah, yes, let's not forget to put that piece back in later on. This little gold piston here. I think Dragons was just Providence, Fangs was Dragoons. Ah, yes. I'm talking about Fangs and Dragoons. Fangs was just in 00, right? The like tiny little funnel bit things. Those were kind of more like bits, right? Golan over there on the Twitch. Nice thing about the Geno Saurer is only 2 legs to build. Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, you still have the front arms as well too, but they're much smaller in comparison to the legs. Like the Liger Zero. I think like it's probably comparable to building a Liger because with the Geno Saurer here, you got 2 back legs which are large and 2 front legs which are small. With the Liger though, you've got 4 legs, but they're all like not quite as big as these big legs here. So you got maybe like 4 medium-sized legs instead of 2 big, 2 small. So maybe not that different. But yes, I take your point. Yes. Still, just the repetition of having to do it only twice rather than having to do the same thing 4 times. Of course, yes. That's nice. Then, all right, we got a whole big, let's put together a few of these bits here first. for our toe claws. Unfortunately, each claw is 2 separate pieces, so you'll have a seam line on each of the claws, which kind of sucks. And tight fit there for those. Let's see. Hey, what a coincidence. I was looking up tips on how to start streaming Gunpla. Well, Invader Jim, don't look to me for tips on how to stream Gunpla. I'm not that, certainly not that pro at it. I'm not really too happy with my stream setup in general, but yes, you can do this. Dale said the 1-to-1 Odaiba Gundam is the one I was talking about needing a HG of. As Reiji Gamer said, there was a Gundam base exclusive of it, but that was just a statue. If you want like an HG version of the 1-to-1 scale ARC 782 Gundam, the old one, there was the HG G30th was basically that. I think it's a little bit harder to come by now. So I don't think they make it very often anymore, but if you can find it, the HG G30th is a really nice kit, and it is essentially a HD version of that. So yeah. Well, oops, hang on. That's 1 and 2. Attach that into there. 3. Attach this down to there. So there's our little working piston there for the back of the foot, I think, right? And then step 4. We need this piece, or actually this one. And put this one on here. There's step 4. Yes, the RG is also the Daiba Gundam 2, right? Yeah, the RG is also. Yes. And yes, as Vic just said, it's also the Gunpla starter set too, right? Yeah, and this Gunpla starter set 2, I think that's also the G30th version in that one too, as well. Yes, indeed. There we go. That's step 4. Step 5. 1 toe here in the middle. I believe all the toes are the same, right? Yes, the parts were different, but as far as just like the shape and mold of them, I believe they're all kind of the same. Actually, maybe not. Is there kind of a left and right one? I think I may have put a couple of these on wrong. Oops. Oh yeah, because there's kind of like a more left and more right thing for that, isn't there? So the question is, which one's which? I think that one's like that. I think I probably put a couple of these not together wrong. Now I have to figure out which one I did wrong. Or did I? Well, this one at least I'm pretty certain goes in the center. That one looks right, that those parts are the same, so that's in the center. So that would be step 6. Should go onto here, like that. And step 7 would be to close that up. And here's the question. Did I put these together correctly or incorrectly? And which one goes where? I'm just gonna guess this one goes, well, that doesn't look to be right. I can tell right away that that wasn't right, because the toe was like pointing in, so I guess that solves that question. Once you put it on there, it was very obvious that that was not right. So let's see, then J12, this one's supposed to go up under the foot here, with this part pointing forward, like that. And that's all for this section. And for this one, this one goes here and this one goes here. Ouch. This part's a little bit pokey. Some of these really sharp bits. Putting them together, you gotta be careful not to poke yourself with it. That's actually supposed to go the other way, up like that. And this part is supposed to go here, up underneath there, like that. And this one up into here. Those go on the back of here. Don't need you popping out of there. Something else that's going to hold those little white pieces in place or not? Those are kind of very, very lightly pegged onto there. And I'm noticing I've got a couple of pieces here that I think I missed where they're supposed to go on. Didn't I? Or what? Where's this little piece go? And these little purple pieces, let me look back over here. Maybe they go for the arms and I put them in the wrong place, but let me see. 'Cause that doesn't look like that goes anywhere on there. Aha! Oops. Yeah, these are supposed to go here on the legs. Annoying. Those were supposed to go way up here. And then what about this little guy? This one goes here on the top of the foot. Okay, yeah. And then that should be done. This one glue should be dried enough. We can put this back into place here. Put the top of the leg like that. So this little purple piece, let's find out where this was supposed to go. Aha! Also on the back of the leg here. Right up in there. There you go, and go ahead and put our foot on. Carefully. And there we go, there's our big massive leg, and it's a very massive leg. These white parts here on the side are just held on with a tiny little peg there. Seems not great, but nevertheless, they're on, and they're gonna stay there for the most part, I suppose. Those are meant to fold down, I guess, probably when he's doing his big laser blast. Yeah. But alright, let's get this leg on here. Oof. Carefully. Oof. There. Whew. Boom. There you go. Now, one more leg. But of course, always the second one goes faster, because after you built one, you kind of know how everything's supposed to go, and it's a little bit easier of a time. And then after that, all we got left is the arms. So arms are pretty small, obviously. Shouldn't be too bad. Get all these little tiny bits out of here. And before we do that, what I want to do first is glue our piece that we want to glue to make sure that we can put that on without any issues later on. Let's see. I bought one of those clamp holders that I just attached to my door and stretched over shot. Gonna hop off and probably do a quick stream, but thanks, and I'll definitely keep up on YouTube watching. Sure about something to hold the camera. Yes. Yes, that's. You guys have been watching for a while here. You saw when the camera fell down earlier. That's one of the problems that I have, is my arm that holds my camera is not very secure. It's kind of fine, but it's just that the table that I am using here is not ideal. Now, PC, polycaps. J goes at the top. Of these guys here. Not that. This one. Hey, did you guys see that SNL is back on? I'm happy. As you guys have, if you watch my live streams, and I feel like I haven't talked about it a whole lot recently, over like the past few months, just because SNL hasn't been on. But I am a bit of a fan. So I'm glad that SNL is back. Gives me something to watch on the weekend, on Sunday. It's on Sunday for me. It's like they uploads like some parts. I don't know if they upload like every part of the show onto the YouTube channel or just like some parts of it, but whatever they put on YouTube, I'll usually watch it on like Sunday for me. So I was glad to see that it's back on. Yeah, this polycap here at the top. So one problem that I am noticing about the construction of this kit is that the polycaps, and this is kind of true, I've found this in other Kotobukiya kits as well too. The polycaps just aren't as nice as Bandai's, and sometimes, if they're not just right, they're gonna kind of just give you a bit of a headache. Because the polycaps have to be just right, or they kind of don't really fit quite right, and they prevent parts from fitting quite right as they're supposed to. If they've got any little bits of flash, or if they're just like ever so slightly too big or something like that. So it can be a bit of a headache. Like with this one. But there you go. That's alright now. Then plate cap. Aye. Even though, like, generally when building like arms and legs on Gundam kits or something like that, it's like after I build one, then building a second one, I hardly need to refer to the manual at all usually. I can do it fine. Almost without having to look at the manual at all, because I just built the one, so just doing the exact same thing again, not really required. But with this kit, with everything that's going on with this, I feel like I definitely need to make sure I'm paying attention to the manual. Make sure I don't forget anything. There's a lot of pieces that go together, like every step along the way. Like these, for example, here that I forgot last time, so make sure not to do that this time. It should go here like that. There we go. Like that, and yes. Our piston pieces here. That one, and where's the other one? Here. That's plug onto there. That goes up into there. So it doesn't look. Let's see. In my opinion, Zoids instructions are less clear, but very similar to Gundam. Yeah. There's a lot more section, and it's gonna be kind of hard for you guys to see. There's a lot more sections like this, where you have like a lot of parts all going together all at once. Where in Gundam kits, it would usually be broken up into more sections, and I think it's just because they don't want to make the manuals too long. If they broke this up more, the manual, which is already pretty long, would be even larger and longer, kind of. So I guess just to kind of keep these from the manuals, maybe from being too long, maybe for some, maybe that's part of the reason, I don't know. But yes, you'll have a lot of those steps here along the way where it's like one step of the instructions requires like 15 pieces, and normally Gundam kits don't do that. Let's see. Nim said, sorry I'm late, had to render a video. Well, fair enough. No worries. And I mean, like, I've never built many military models. I assume they're probably the same though, where you'll have like one step using like a lot of parts all at once. It's the same kind of thing here too, with some of like the Maschinen Krieger kits. Let me just like show you, for example, here, like the Maschinen Krieger Kuster, which I'm working on currently. So you have like the one main section which is already done, and then like you have like 15 different parts that you're putting all onto there at once. But it's all like there's these little parts. It's not like any subsections. I guess like a couple of these are like parts that you already had previously built, but like there's a bunch of pieces all going on in like one main step of the process. So other kits I think are like that too. It's just Bandai in general for their Gunpla kits. They try to keep it like as simple as possible, right? So that's not a bad thing. It's good for us. Makes our lives easier. Let's see. 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Oops, what fell off? Gotcha. This little hose part on the underside of here doesn't really fit in there super well. I noticed that with the first leg as well too. And now with this leg, it's doing the same thing. Feeling like it's gonna be trying to pop off of there every chance that it gets. I don't really know necessarily why, but all of a sudden, I've got the, you know the song The Weight by the band? It's stuck in my head. I don't really know where it came from. It's not like I listened to it today, or I haven't listened to that song probably in weeks. I don't know. I listened to it like a few weeks ago because I was watching a video of the Me Without You cover of the song. Just kind of randomly. But yeah, strange why it suddenly has popped into my head. Anyone know the song I'm talking about? It's kind of an obscure one, I know, probably, I don't know. The fact that the band's name is The Band also too is kind of makes it hard. It's like, hey, you know that song by The Band? Like, people are gonna be like, what band? Yeah. Is that supposed to click into place? Because that seems like, there you go, that's supposed to click into place. I'm sure I didn't do that for the other legs, so hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. Hey, are you liking the kit so far? The Lord Chaco Flan. Am I liking the kit so far? Yeah, it's cool. It's not really surprising me one way or the other, so I mean, it's so far been all really what I expected, so it's not like it's like blowing me away with how awesome it is or really disappointing me with how bad it is. These kits are great in that they have a lot of parts, a lot of detail, and they're very cool, but they do have their downsides as well too, is that some sections can be a little bit loose, a little bit frustrating here and there. So it's basically sizing up to be exactly what I expected. Cody said, know how confusing the conversation is. Know that song about Annie by the band? Yeah. RFRS, he knows what I'm talking about too. Well, I'm glad some of you guys know what I'm talking about. At least that's fine. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just like the cadence of something I said earlier just kind of resonated in a way that it kind of reminded me of that song, if that makes sense. Right? Don't do it again. It keeps popping apart, this piece. I push it together and then I go to set it down and it pops apart again. Come on now. Come on, don't do it again. Alright, what's the deal? You got like some flash in there or something, or what? That's the problem peg there. Don't do it again. Let's see. Are you planning on doing a paint job on it? No plans for a paint job on this like anytime soon. It's like, yeah, in general, I would hope to paint it eventually, but nothing on the books at the moment. Yes. Let's see, and that fits into here. There. Then we can put that section aside and then back to the leg. And our piece that we glued should be dried enough that I think we can put this into place here. Plug onto top of the leg, top of the leg, and then this part. plug onto the front of the leg. Oh, now that I'm looking at my other leg, I'm wondering if I put that part on there wrong. Because now that I look at it, I think I did. Or it's not connected in there totally as it's supposed to be. Yeah, there you go. That was easy enough to fix, thank you. And these pieces here. Heard a big crash and got a little bit worried there. That goes on the side of here, and this one here on the other side, and this one here on the front. There we go. And that's all for that. Then let's see. We're talking about Gundam soundtracks over there. As far as I'm concerned, there's no Gundam soundtrack that's better than the Unicorn soundtrack. And you'll not change my mind. Yeah. This one goes on here. Y'all are silly. And I know like Unicorn is like a proper like OST, and I think the other guys there are talking about like opening songs, or like what's the word for that? I forget. Anyway, just an opening song, which is for like a series, which is different from what Unicorn had, obviously, but just any Gundam music in general, opening songs or full-on soundtracks or anything, Gundam Unicorn is where it's at. Yeah, OP there it is, thank you. OST versus OP. Yeah. Too good. And then, I keep meaning to put this piece on here. I couldn't find it. There it is. Ouch. Too sharp. These parts here for the feet have like these little pointy bits on there that keep poking me. Like that. That. Now we can build the feet. Now I'm gonna try to pay attention to these toe pieces. Which one's which? These ones here. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Well, it must be one of those. Let's see. It's gotta be one of these. Might be that one. But considering that those don't want to stay together at all, I'm guessing that that's not the correct answer. So let's try this one. Maybe I just got really lucky that these kind of only fit together in one particular way, And I just so happened to put them together the right way, building the first foot. Otherwise these claws are a little bit annoying. I don't know, I think I've got it right. Possibly. Favorite sound effect? I say the sizzle sound of Mobosu is about to explode. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty cool one. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I guess it must be a a memorable sound, at least to the point where I can hear the sound exactly. Alright, as for the toe, so once again I put the piston there in the wrong place. And this doesn't really particularly need to go in there at this point, but manual says to do it, so we'll do it. That silver piece that just fell out, I mean. This part of the piston. There. Then, let's see. Got this part like that, which is going to... Let's see, we need to put this one on here first. These parts for the foot together like so. That'll pop onto place and should be up, not down. Pop onto the top of there, this one onto the bottom of here. Just go ahead and put that there, and this one right here. And why not just go ahead and pop these on here as well too while we're on it. Then that one goes like that. Then we had our center toe, which is this one, which goes like that, does it not? Why is that like not fitting on there? Put it on this side first. No? Okay, thought I was doing good. Putting this together without the help of the instructions, but maybe I'm doing it wrong. Although I don't think so. It looks right, so. Let's see. That needs to get on there. Oh, should be like that, yeah. So is that center toe just gonna be a little bit kind of loose or what? Oh, that's not the center toe, that's why. This one is. Yeah, and that's why it fits on there better. And don't forget to put this on here first too. Now we're cooking with gas. And this toe on the other side. And this one here. And this one up into here. Like that, angle that up. Put this one here on top of the foot. Like that. Put these pieces on the side. And that foot is done. You can put it on the leg. You put the leg on the body. And we can have two legs. And it should stand on its own. Ooh, come on. Just go on there nicely. Don't cause a fuss. Come on. There you go. Yeah, it should, I mean, the feet are huge. And there's enough weight that it should balance and stand up on its own. But hang on, just kind of got to get the feet all lined up. It's also kind of hard to tell. There's the bottom of the feet. There you go. Come on. Still kind of back heavy actually. I mean, once we get the arms on, That'll help. It needs a little bit more weight to the front, actually. And, ooh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, what's happening? The whole thing's coming apart. No. Oh, no. What's that? Okay, well, first the cannon is coming off the top, because that's like just barely held onto there. And then this part's also coming apart here. The torso section. No. It's also like just kind of like just barely held on there by like two little pegs. That's really weird. And I gotta get like those cables that we fed in like through the neck and the back need to be plugged on there just right as well too. So man, be careful, I guess. This whole cannon section, which I mentioned, is kind of stiff in like rotating that and bending it around. It's stiffer than the connection to the body, so when I was moving that, it just pulled it off the body straight away. So the connection to the body is kind of weak, but let's go ahead and get the arms on there first, I guess, and then it should be better balanced, I guess. Much fewer pieces here for the arms, but still a fair amount. Because he's got a little T-Rex style, little baby arms on him. I mean, I guess it's not really supposed to be any particular dinosaur in particular, right? I don't know. Is this really meant to be a Tyrannosaurus or more like Allosaurus? He's just got the two fingers, and I guess the one little one underneath there as well too. So I guess it's just supposed to be kind of generic theropod dinosaur, but. Yes, Alvin, we're still going, but we're almost done. Just gotta put together these here arms. Now, let's see. There's a little bit of this. It's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a T-Rex type Zoid, JJ says. So yeah, T-Rex type, not necessarily like exactly a T-Rex, I guess, but PCH, and then we will also need PCF, which are the remaining two here. So that's good. I'm gonna use all of our polycaps and not have any left over. Super cleanly. As I was saying, PCH needs to go into this part here. Yeah. Tight squeeze there, but that's in as far as that's gonna go, I guess. And then which part is that? This one here, actually, right? Yeah, step one is actually to put this part on here first, so let's just go ahead and do that. But that's not that. Which piece is that? This one. Like so. And then this should connect, and also this little piece in here. How far in is that supposed to go? It's just like that all the way in, alright. Yeah. this section, let's see, we need this PCF to go into here. You're gonna be another tricky polycap here, are ya? Not wanting to fit in there as you're meant to, eh? Don't mess with me, polycap. Yeah, it would help if I checked the instructions. I know there was a particular way to put in that polycap that I didn't notice. Okay, sorry about that. And that tiny little piece here, yes, that goes on the end of this gold piece and plugs into here. Like that. And is that supposed to be on the side of there? Yep. There we go. Whew. Lego, hey bro, Leslie, how's it going, man? From Kansas. Hello. Okay. Also, the instructions for the arms here are a little bit confusing too, because you have like this column is for the one arm and this column is for the other arm, and I keep wanting to go like back and forth. Actually, this is times 2, this is times 2. And then this column, yeah, is for these parts, but actually it goes 27, 28, 29, 30, but it actually should just be 27, 29. If you're thinking about it a little bit more kind of logically. But alright, fair enough. That one goes on here. And then our vent piece on the other side of that. Like that. Okay, step 2 is where? These pieces on the side of that. Just kind of, in general, just kind of fit around that. They're not really attached to anything, they're just attached to each other. Just fit around to that piece like so. There we go. And step 3, this little piece here is plugged into here? Is that right? I guess so. And also our little baby claw there at the bottom. Our big claws here at the top for the hand. Come on, baby claw. Get on there like that. And close this up. Yo. And that plugs onto here. And these parts plug onto the side of here. Like that. Then we've got 1 cap. 3 caps. That plugs onto there like that, right? Yep, simple as that. Fine. And 1 more cap here on the side, and there we go. There's our arm. Yeah, that hand doesn't really, it's not plugged onto there super well. That came off a little bit. Oh man, the claws are super sharp. Man, it's gotta be kind of careful working those things. There you go. as we all know, T-Rex didn't have a little extra little thumb claw on the bottom of there, so Zoids designers taking some liberties with the Tyrannosaurus design, it looks like. Dale, what's my silver bullet suppressor hot take? I don't know if it's really much of a hot take, but my take on the silver bullet suppressor, I love the silver bullet HG kit. The suppressor is not necessarily my favorite version of it, but it is a really cool kit. It's very big too, which is nice to have to build a nice big HG kit, bigger than your average 144 scale Gundam. So if you like that, that's something that you're looking for. That's cool. But yeah, silver bullet suppressor has like the cool gimmick with the arms in the back and everything like that. But I just prefer just the oh my, and there's a spider crawling on my camera wire, isn't there? You can go away, please. Thank you. Yeah, I just prefer the original silver bullet. Yes, indeed, how dare they not make this anatomically correct. Also, the head is way too small. That's why I was confused if this is actually supposed to be a Tyrannosaurus or not, because the head is also very small. The T-Rex had a very big head. Just like compared to the body. Here, this guy's kind of got a little tiny little head on it. So it's kind of throwing me off. And it was sure to mention that for these claw parts, there's like a flat part of this that's kind of meant to go towards the front, but I don't really sure why. Oh, it does fit on there in a certain way, doesn't it? So, okay. I guess that's why. Please tell me you spared the spider. Yes, Pixel Ninja, I spared the spider. As far as I can tell, me flinging it off my wire didn't hurt it at all. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's still going around here to, in some way, later make its way onto like my pant leg or something. I'm going to look down and notice it there and flip out. So yeah, no worries. I'm sure he's okay. The Zoid Tyran is the closest to a T-Rex type that I've seen. Oh, is that a different one? Zoid's Tyran? That name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've seen that. I know there's no Kotobukiya kit of that, right? There's that. And this one in there like that. Just kind of a couple little things here first. Maybe that polycap H was meant to go into this part here, right? Yeah. Zaku is a friend of the spiders. Yeah, not particularly. If it would have been an easier kill, I probably would have gone for it. Don't really like spiders. Sorry to say. I have gotten much better at capturing them though, because like when I'm with my kids, if like we find a spider in the house or something like that, I'm trying to not teach my kids to just like kill everything. So trying to be very kind. Whenever we find a spider there in the house, I have to capture it, and it's cool for them. They'll like look at it. I'll usually use like an old like plastic cup or something. I'll go to the recycling and see what we have. Just like cup that on there. Just so the kids can check it out before I toss it out the window. But yeah, been getting better at bug wrangling. Let's see, how do we want that to go on there? I'm gonna cheat a little bit to put this together in a little bit different way than we did the first time around, different than how it tells you to do it in the manual, and hopefully this will work well enough. But it should be as easy as that, just putting it together like so, and then just putting this on here. So it's kind of interesting why they don't have you do it the way that I did it. I'm obviously the master over here, showing Kotobuki how it's done. But now, Polycap's giving me grief again. Energy! You guys remember that? Power Thirst? A classic from the days of viral videos before viral videos were a thing. Power Thirst. Yes. The other day too, I was also reminiscing about the classic My New Haircut. Man, that was great and spawned lots of spin-offs as well too. Manergy. 400 babies. Yes, truly a classic. Your thoughts on MG the O? I bought and built the MG the O right when it first came out, and I enjoyed it. It's a cool kit. Pricey and not very easy to find these days, as far as I know. It hasn't gotten a rerun in a while. Again, as far as I know, it could have just recently got a rerun, so maybe it's easier to get your hands on now, but I know for a while. Hey, what's up, Josh? I didn't see you there. Have you been watching for a while? Say, it'll make this Zoid as fast as Kenyans. Yes. Yeah. No, the Masquerade the O is cool. I have it up over here because I built it a long time before I was on YouTube, so I just kind of have it built up. But I've been wanting to like actually do a proper review of the kit. Obviously, just not including the unboxing section because it's already all built. But yeah, someday I'll do a review of that. But about an hour or so. Okay, cool. Yes, Josh, I am sure you know all about the Power Thirst. Alright, there's our arms all done, and that means we're all done here. And let's see if these arms give it enough weight to the front. Let's see if I can put the arms on without breaking anything. The rest of the kit this time. It's just that it's very tight, which is good. I mean, you don't want stuff like falling apart on you, but when you need to put on the arm, it's really tight. It's putting a lot of pressure on the rest of the body. That's making me a little nervous, but there you go. Alright, and I got this all wrapped up in the camera wire here. It's still back heavy. Man, you'd think with like all like the head and arms, everything all on like the front half, the tail wouldn't cause it to be that back heavy, but it's pretty back heavy. Alright, let me adjust the camera a moment to give you guys a better look at how this looks here. course, I'll be working on the review shortly. You guys can see in the review, but just for the moment, especially those of you who have been watching this very lengthy stream, you need to see what the kit is going to actually look like, right? So let me just adjust the feet to try to make him standing. It's just the problem is every time I try to adjust something, stuff's like kind of pulling apart a little bit, but there you go. Try to move it, yeah, very gently. Yeah, these kits, you're definitely going to want to glue parts of these together to avoid that happening, because you got some touchy little bits that are just barely holding on there, and if you touch them the wrong way, let's see, yeah, it's gonna be causing things to happen that you don't want to happen. But here we are. There we are. That's very cool looking, isn't it? I'd say so. Let me adjust. I know it's out of focus for you guys. Sorry. Focus. All right. Let's move this so I can see what I'm doing. Focus. Oh, why is it doing that? There we go. Whoa. It's all black, so it's really hard to see. I think that's in focus-ish, as far as you guys can tell, as far as I can tell. But there you go. So yeah, gotta be gentle with these kits, but they certainly look amazing, and that's the important part. It's gotta look good, right? You need a little bit of glue here and there just to make sure nothing's popping off as they're trying to move things around. But man, I mean, very impressive looking for sure. And quite big. What do I have around here that I can compare for you guys? Well, I have my go-to HG RX-78-2 here for comparison, and you're kind of hiding behind me. There you go. So you can see just how big it is. Actually, RX-78-2 riding on top would be a pretty nice size of that for him. But you can see, yeah, quite large for that guy there. So there you have it. Pretty long stream, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. I know it took quite a while for us to get it all put together, but as you can see, there was a lot of pieces, and it's much different from building your standard Gundam kits. Not exactly the familiar process of you build a Gundam leg and arm and everything's all kind of, you know, generally the same kind of shapes and stuff. It's totally different build process. So there it is, and I'll be working on the review for that, but I'll be working on the review for the Blasty first, and then probably this, and then like I said, I do have the Astro Ninetails kit all built up and ready to review as well too. So that'll probably be towards the end of the week that the review of that will come out. The Blasty, I'll try to have the review out either later today or tomorrow. I'll be recording it today, and then I'll be uploading it either later today or tomorrow. And then this guy, maybe work on the recording the review tomorrow and then uploading the review later on after that. So anyway, that's all for today, guys. But I will be live again tomorrow morning, starting around the same time. But it's not going to be building anything. I'm going to be doing a new episode of Gunpla Critique, taking a look at some works by my wonderful Patreon supporters. So if you guys are interested in that, you can check out my Patreon page. It's just Zach Aurelius on Patreon. You can check that out if you want to submit works for Gunpla Critique. Otherwise, just watch and hang out tomorrow for the live stream of that, and then I'll be live with Josh for a new episode of Plamo No Trend later this week as well too, but we haven't exactly decided on the time of that yet, so I'll let you guys know. But for now, have a good rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys later.